Vote shapes our future. Stay informed. Stay empowered. Catch Know Your Candidate. Only here at the Freeman. The May 2025 election is just around the corner. Do you really know the candidates who want to lead you? For years, the Freeman has brought you Know Your Candidate, your trusted platform to meet the candidates, hear their plans, and get the answers that matter. Your vote shapes our future. Stay informed. Stay empowered. Catch Know Your Candidate. Only here at the Freeman. The May 2025 election is just around the corner. Do you really know the candidates who want to lead you? For years, the Freeman has brought you Know Your Candidate, your trusted platform to meet the candidates, hear their plans, and get the answers that matter. Your vote shapes our future. Stay informed. Stay empowered. Catch Know Your Candidate. Only here at the Freeman.
Be part of the conversation, protect the Cebu vote. I'm Fred Blanquido, and this is Know Your Candidate, an election special of the Freeman and Banat News to help you make the right choices. Who among the candidates deserve your sacred vote? Let's get to know them up close and personal. And joining us on the show is the incumbent governor of Cebu, ang labing unang babaeng gobernador sa Cebu ug nagbinugtong gobernador nga babae sa kasaysayan sa Cebu, Governor Garcia. Gov, welcome to the Freeman Know Your Candidate.
Salamat kaayo, Fred, and good afternoon sa tanan nga nagtanaw karon.
Daghang salamat for making time to be on the show, Gov. Kay ba may labihang bisihag yun mo sa imuhang schedule, but you made time. Iyon sa ba mo pag-manage ang imuhang time, your official time and your personal time? Doon na pa ba kay time sa imuhang pamilya with all the schedules?
I think that let's talk about the family. As far as my family is concerned, they have learned to understand nga ako maning gi-offer akong kaugalingon sa mga Subuanon nga mo alagad. So I am very lucky to have my children who have practically spent the last 18 years nga having to share their mom with millions of other children. When you talked about personal time, I'm afraid that will always take second priority to the official time, or I don't call it official time. It's really what I am now. Everything that I do and everything that I think about and everything that I double check, it's really all about Cebu and the Cebuanos.
Sa kadaghan sa problema sa lalawigan sa Cebu and in the last election, overwhelming ang kining majority nga gihatag nimo sa mga Cebuanon. Do you feel pressure nga ingon ni ana ka dako ang suporta nga gihatag sa mga Cebuanon, and maybe the Cebuanos also expect a lot from you?
First of all, I will always be grateful to all the Cebuanos. Sukad sa akong pagsugod in 2004, you know, Fred, you were with me at that time, no? You were already in media.
Yeah.
And
I was covering Capitol that time.
you were in the Capitol beat.
Yes.
Well, pagsugod nako, mo pud toy labing una pod nga panahon or higayon nga ni salmot ko og usa ka eleksyon isip kandidato. Nya wagid ko mo ang diretso daga gobernador. I think ubay-ubay naghuna-huna kay wa pa gyud babae nga nidaog. Plus here comes this little girl nga wa pagali kasulay og lain nga posisyon ug dagan. murag doon ay mga nagtuo nga dili gyud ko mo lusot apan I've always said, voice of the people is the voice of God. Nidaog ko bisag gamay gyud kaayo ang mayoriya. And ever since then, every time I would present myself to the Cebuanos, either as a re-electionist governor or as a congresswoman of the 3rd District, ang mga Subuanon kanunay gyud kong gipadaog. And to them, I will always owe this eternal gratitude. In the last elections, that was a historic margin ever. I breached the 1 million mark in terms of the votes that I got. And, well, the margin over my closest opponent, and he was no token candidate. He was a well-known political personality, had served 3 terms, I think even more, as congressman, a former secretary of tourism, a very powerful political family. But I beat him by 1.1 million votes. That humbles you, actually. Kana bang, instead of thinking, wow, I'm so great, it really, yes, it pressured me. Kay pagkadako sa pagsalig sa mga Subuano nako. And that is why I'm even busier than ever kay daghan kaayong panginahanglan, daghan kaayong buluhaton. So I'm trying to move as fast as I can because I cannot fail the Cebuanos. I may not be able to attend to every need, no? Di gyud ni nako masulbad ang tanan. But I just hope that during the time given to me by the Cebuanos and of course by God Almighty, I shall have given it my all, the best that I could, in the best possible way that I knew how, with, of course, always praying for guidance from the Holy Spirit. It's a lot of pressure, I tell you. But it's also what keeps me going and gives me so much energy.
For the past 15 years in total, so far, sa imuhang termino isip gobernador, 3 terms, consecutive terms, dayon na re-elected ka, pagbalik, in which you also made history. Wa pay sukad masukad, wa pay nakahimo ni ana nga maong kalampusan nga nibalik pagka gobernador, and you are now on your 3rd term.
Well, hopefully. I am on my 5th. I will be running for my 6th term. The 3rd term of the second round.
I'm sure daghan na kayo kag mga programa nga nahimo sa probinsya sa Cebu, but with all those programs, unsay imuhang kanang maisip nga murag labing importante nga programa o murag og maghisgot kani anang programa ali Garcia ni Gwen Garcia?
I wouldn't know how the people will judge me after I shall have left office. After, hopefully, they will give me my 3rd term, my 6th term. It really would depend on how the programs had touched their lives. I used to think during my first round that the most important things were basic infrastructure, roads, bridges, public buildings, even school buildings. When I came back, we continued with that, of course. In fact, now, giusab to nato. It used to be asphalted to atong mga daan. I said, let us build roads that will last not just for this generation, but for the next. We are building roads for the future. Moto ang mga daan nato, ang atong provincial roads, instead of 5 meters ramang gyud na, we have now expanded that to 6.1 meters. Unya, ang shouldering, nga tag 1 meter, instead of anapog, ang shouldering lang, ato sa nag-isiminto. So, that's a total of 8.1 nga concrete. Lapad, baga ang simento. Ang mga barangay roads nga 4 meters ramang gyud na, ato nang gi-expand to 5. Ang carriageway o ang umakaya pa gyud tag 1 meter sad ang shouldering nga concreted pod. So 7. atong gisugdan o karon nagdagan na gani ang Mualboal. We have now provided, we have solved the problem on water. So bulk water supply down to level 3. And we built barangay halls nga we have a standard nga design. It looks like the capital. Ang ato sad mga multipurpose, ang kaning mga gamito nila for as gym or tanan doon sa standard ni ana. Daghan tang nahimo. But beyond that, because this is the hard infrastructure.
Yeah.
Para nako kani akong pagbalik, maybe because first of all we went through COVID.
Yeah.
So in 2020 we saw the lockdowns. I saw kay di ba man ko ni gamit sa akong edad as an excuse. Senior citizen ra ba ko na ako'y comorbidity. No. I instead went out. Kaya I wanted to see unsay kahimtang. And I saw how the people suffered. Nadaot ato ekonomiya. Katungod atong mga nanghinubra kaayong kastrikto. In fact, our very first program was, I thought about that pagsugod sa atong lockdown. And that was in March of 2020. Lockdown, sirado tanan. I mean, I would go around and, you feel like this is a ghost town, no? And I did not know then unsa nang COVID. Ilapit ito gitawag og novel coronavirus. So, kuyawan sa ko kayo, strikta ko kayo. So I was thinking, with this lockdown, ang tanan nga hadlok, we have to give our people a reason to get up, to get out of bed, to have some hope. And I said, dili man pwede taglain mga programa nga makagawas na sila, pero akong giingnan ang atong provincial agriculturist, ato ni silang i-encourage nga makatanom, mananom og mga utanon. Kaya aron, kung itanom ka diya kamatis, di makahuna-una ka, namuwak na baka to, or naan na rabatoy bunga, green, mupuwa na baka to. It gives them a reason to have some positive thing happening during those very, very gloomy times. And more than that, natagaan sad o kana bang sustainability ang pagkaon, no? Doon na sila mahikap. Makabamaligya pag yun. So, that was ang subusog.
Yes.
Diha nagsugod ang subusog, which we had since expanded already. No? Di lang sa mga households, to puroks, to barangays, to the LGUs. Now, all of our elementary and high school sa tibuok probinsya, apil na ang mga city divisions, apil na pod ang Bureau of Fire Protection, mga PNP,
yes.
ang BJMP, ang tanan natong hospitals.
So this has become a kanang murag contest, Gob, no?
I have always realized na there has to be an incentive. Kinahanglan gini mo i-incentivize. Kay para they will look forward to it. And then it becomes a way, they absorb it into their system. Nga nahibaw sila nga kada tuig na agitoy awardan. So they have something to look forward to. Maningkamot sila. It's the psychology of human nature. So competition gyud na, and we give dili kay tagaan na natog plake. I mean, like for example, ang mudaog sa LGU dunay unsay to, commuter van ba to? Ang mudaog sa mga pulis dunay Toyota nga double cab. But depende na no kung second round ang mga motorcycles, it's incentivized. Ang mga eskwelahan dunay ilang light A's. I think these are things that get them to perform. But at the same time, they're doing good for themselves. Ya kanira bang sa eskwelahan, na-tie up na po sa atong school feeding. Because I've known that problem nga, labi na ang naa sa barangay nato, bukid, magbaktas in taon ng mga bata, gutom na kay pag-abot sa eskwelahan. Nya kibaw ko magkutoy ang tiyan, saan pa pag-sod leksyon sa imong utok. So I thought up of this nga, sige kitay mo hatag sa bugas, nahibaw ko ang usa ka kilo, kung lungago na, moabot ng mga 20 ka cups. Mahimo kayo na ma-expand, depende kung sa kadako imong cup. Pero at least 20. We have now mga 960,000 school children. So akong gi-divide how much do we need every day, pila ka sako, and then we ask the PTA. Kay total ila man ang mga anak, Parent Teachers Association, ila man ang mga anak, sila'y luto. Magkuha sila og mga utanon gikan sa ilang Sugbusog Garden. Nakadungog ang San Miguel, ni donate pod og tonelada nga manok. Na apod ang Pure Foods ni tabang pod. Nya na ang Century Tuna ni daghan na kaayo. Sige og and we divide that equitably, no. So nanay school feeding. Ang of course ang school supplies, I started that before. Ipadayon ta na. Nag-anak-anak ni. And then during the pandemic nga okay bisag GCQ ta pero nagguba yung negosyo. So I thought up of ang Cebu negosyo. Nga ang first round na to, giuna na to tong mga negosyong padayonon katong nagsira. Tagaan na to tong kapital kay aron makabalik og barog. And we found nga during the pandemic daghan na kaayog online. Nanghimo og ilang mga bisag unsa na lang nga makaon. Nya mo pwede nimo makontak. So iko daghan na tag produktong subuanon. So gitabangan ko nato ni sila. O ang katong mga ginagmay nga namaligya balot na maligya og ang ginagmay pang negosyo. But wala may nihatag kwarta. QR coded aron dili mausik
Aron dili ikaposta sugal
or iparibans buhok. Nag-anak-anak. Then I said kay naanad bang gud ta atong COVID time. Pila may ihatag be hamang ayuda, di ba? That is when the ayuda started. Like we are ato maning encourage ning kanibang culture of mendicancy. Kanibang mahimo na lang makililimos naghangad na sa gobyerno di ba ni nato masulbad tanan. And what kind of people are we developing or undeveloping? Mahod ang dignidad ana ang padre de pamilya nga sige ato ta apitan linya dito kay tagaan ta kwarta. I said dili ta mo hatag ana. Tabangan nato atong tudloan kaning mga out of school youth or katong maski pa mga dugay na kaiwa na ni housewife or ana kuwang magina pirmi wa mo na test da gamay ra magigi allocate namo mga 10 million mo tayo so mo na lang kung tunga kadaghan ani akong mga lungsod ug dakbayan. I first allocated 100 million pesos. I said we will divide that equally amongst the 17 board members, tag 5 million, that's 85 million. Ang balance nga 15 ato ihatag sa Vice Gov. Sila mo identify in each of their districts ang mga board members sa mga beneficiaries. Vice Gov Tibok Province. We tie up with TESDA ang ilang accredited nga techno-vocational institutes mo imutudlo sa short-term courses. Whether it's welding, carpentry, hilot, naapay cookery, naay baking, tanan. And at the end of that, akong gi-adapt ang ilang, we call that the STEP program sa TESDA, pero ato ni nga funds. Doon na sila allowance nga 160 pesos a day. Nya pagkahuman sa kurso, doon na sila toolkit. So ang welding, doon ay welding machine o kanang mask. And apart from that, they get the NC2, kaning national certification. Yes, and so far, okay, we are now, okay, season 1, season 2, we were able to graduate more than 10,000, mga 8,000 plus. Karon, I saw how it has helped yun sa atong mga subuanon. So, I doubled the allocation ng 200 million na. Meaning, tag 10 million ang mga board members, si Vice Gov 30 million. And they're able to identify na tanan. In fact, nagsugod na pod ang kadtong identified nga beneficiaries on their short-term courses. We also extended this in the caravan of services. I-extend na nato sa mga persons with disabilities because sa caravan, this is also one very meaningful program kay that's 10 caravans every 3 months where all nagsugod mi provincial government services unta. We call it the Provincial Government Caravan of Services. Mukuyog ang health, mukuyog agriculture, ang vet, ang veterinary, ang unsa pa, ang tanan nga ang legal kay mo offer me. Nakadungog bang mga national agencies. They all joined in. So, na-appeal na ang GSIS, PhilHealth, PRC para for renewal, LTO para sa mga lisensya. Basta, practically all, ni-appeal pag yun ang academe. So, appeal ang San Carlos para sa ilang, ang ilang psychology division or mental health, na-apod ang UP. In the afternoon, manghatag may assistive devices. Aside from coconut seedlings from PCA, and then tilapia fry from BFAR, o ang PCIC nga mga indemnity checks, we give assistive devices to the different PWDs, mga wheelchair, mga canes, even for the blind, no? Or kanang mga walker, or all of this. But after several rounds, ningon ko nga, human ana, diha na lang ta kutob. Sa tanan nga mga naglisod, okay, kabus. Mas lisod pag yung PWD nga kabus.
Yeah.
Kaya naglisod ka na, kay pobre taong kakaayo. Unya, maglisod pag yung kaglihok, unsaon man ana niya. That was when we decided nga, ang tanan PWDs, isyuhan gyud og katong nga QR coded card pod, nga sa tanan nato nga mga provincial and district hospitals, libre tanan service, medicines tanan, if they go. Aside from that, let us teach them a skill. Kung makahimo di ay sila o pangayo computer, naman na.
Yeah.
Kung pangluto di siya. So, it's either ang PWD mismo or ang iyang kauban sa pamilya. Asawa baron, iyang bang anak, pag umangkon. Kaya aron ini kahuman ana nga mo graduate na siya, plus doon naman tayo toolkit, makasugod sila og ilang kaugalingong negosyo. So, these programs, magsunod-sunod man gud na. Kay, but I think makahuna-huna lang ko ana kung naagid ko sa mga tao. Lisod man nagnaara ko diri kay mapuno lang tag cortisol kapoy. Lahi man gud na makakita gyud ka unsay ilang kahimtang. Maminaw kanila, and if you probably can see kanang pag distribute na sa mga assistive devices doulon gyud na nako, maminaw ko nila. Gani katong dito mi sa where were we? Dumanhog ba to or sa nga nagbalik god ang duha ka dugay nang nagbuwag unta. Kay ang katong nga PWD ang babae niingon ko nga ang kuyog intawon umangkon. So niingon ko nga uy, nganong umangkon man imong kuyog tubag tong pag umangkon nga awa man siya na minyo. Ko ha? Wa di ay kay trato diha. Unya nilakaw man. Unya na nakailain gihigog mawa siya ra gyud. Kay sa mayngan. Tuaman ni antus dumanhog. Ay diha mang mayor. Hoy, kunton pangita ato bi. Nagbalik na ron.
Nagbalik tungod nimo.
But, how can you know about this if di mo sila istoryahan?
Pero kini nga programs, this has been institutionalized na, no? Dili na ni mawa, bisan pa og mahuman na imuhang termino because doon na ordinansa nga gipasar ang provincial board, magpabili ning mao nga mga programa.
I learned my lesson the first 9 years.
Okay.
We started Pasigarbo sa Sugbo. We started the Suri-Suri Sugbo. Diba? But then when I was gone, giundang man god. Ningon ko nga, bisag kinsa pa ka nga gobernador, you are not going to stay there forever. And when you are able to institute or you are able to implement programs nga that really touches the lives and uplifts the lives of the constituents that you are duty bound to serve, you cannot assure yourself nga magpadayon na. And that is why I asked the provincial board, let's institutionalize this. How? Nga mupasar silang ordinansa. Nga kaning maong gidefine na unsa maning sugbusog. Unsa may rules ani ug ipadayon ni. Unsa maning sugbo kahanas. Ang sugbo negosyo. Ang ECD, ang pagpautang interest free alang sa atong mga farmers, fisher folks, or even the micro entrepreneurs. Ang caravan of services. We have 40 na ka-caravans kada tuig.
Kada tuig.
So now all of these have been institutionalized. The provincial board has passed the respective ordinances of every program that we had initiated through all of these years. So I'm glad and I'm happy that you asked me about this, Fred. For those who do not know and those who plan to institutionalize it, no, thank you. It's already been institutionalized.
So, in other words, og mawa nas Gwen Garcia sa Kapitulyo humanang imuhang termino, kining mao nga mga programa mahisgot ag sugbusog, sugbo kahanas, caravan of services, and all the other programs under your administration, hug ni nga og maghisgot ka ana Gwen Garcia ni nga legacy agad.
I would not want to call it a Gwen Garcia legacy. I would just wish that whatever programs we started would continue because nakakita mi nga nakaayo nis mga tao o makatabang ni pag-angat sa ilang kahimtang. When you put a name to it, my God, that's where politicization comes in. Gihimo naman ng politika. Mabito to sa una, kanianto ang mga programa, Gwen ang tawag. Found out, nga nung ibut pangan man na ako niya, mapolitikal lagi. When I left, ang nipuli nga, especially katong murag di sila ganahan ilag yung gihunong kay na-identified with Gwen. I would just hope nga we can rise above that. Nga ordinansa man na sundo na nato. And I hope that the next set of leaders will realize that this is an ordinance, this is the local law of the land, and unless this is declared ultra vires by a proper court or unless we revoke it, this has to be implemented regardless of who started that. It's time to rise above that ego thing ba?
Yeah, I think I agree. Kay murag for the longest time, ingon ana gyud ang sitwasyon. Ini kahuman sa usa ka administration ang mopuli tungod kay iya sa gisundan nga especially og dili kauban sa politika, i-abandon ang project and it's a waste of government fund.
It's a waste of opportunity. Luoy kaayo ang katawhan sa panahon nga hunong na when they could have had the opportunity to advance themselves, their livelihoods, makaangat sila sa ilang earnings tanan. For me, that is a great disservice, no? Dako nang sala sa mga Subuanon. I just hope that when I came back, you know how my life was. For 6 years, I was in Congress, yes, but especially atong panahon nga we were not aligned with the administration, gigukod ko, tanan nga mga kaso, gi-file na ko. Pagdagan ako balik, ang ako mga kontra, ibalik-balik ra gyud ang Balili, CICC, nya karon nga dismiss na. Ambot sa ilang issue na ako, tiguang na kuno ko. Murag di gyud sila matiguang, no? Murag kalakaw pa man ko. Kanang when I came back, with all that I went through, the natural thing would have been for me to seek revenge. Ako na ang in power ron. Ang tanan ninyong gibuhat, pagpaantos na ko sa akong pamilya, sa pangalan nga Garcia, nga inyong gihugaw-hugawan, karon bayad mo. I mean, that's natural.
Yes.
You see that in every change of administration. Di lang ni Cebu, sa ubang mga lugar. And for a while, demonta ako, akong gusto. Kay lagi, di malalim ang akong giagian. Pero I guess po, naamang yun yung Espiritu Santo na lamdagan, ito akong huna-huna. And I think it also started nga si Vice Gov, si Vice Gov Junjun Davide. On the first day, ang July 1st, man God, was a Monday, na timing to, in 2019. Nagdungan mi tanan sa flag ceremony na tanan mga board members. And then my secretary, si Amor, said, Gov, si Vice Gov Junjun is asking for an appointment. Pwede ba kuno siya kaari? At first, ako feeling, Mori siya? So I said, what about? Di lang, maari lang good to know. Oh, sige, give him. And when he came, in the humblest of tones, ingon siyang, Gov, I came here to tell you that I will support you. And I looked at him ba, nga, kami bito'y kontra, katong iyang labi na to iyang kauban usa. Moitig sulsul. I looked at him ba, nga, look at this man, ang iyang humility, tanan. Murag, at that point, I think that was when I had this enlightened thinking. Even before I could fully appreciate the words that were coming out of my mouth, pero mo na ako nasulti nga, thank you, Vice Gov. This I can also assure you, I will always respect your position, your office as Vice Governor. And that was how we started. The Vice Governor reaching out in all humility, and me realizing that maybe that's also in the way I was brought up. You do not turn down someone who has already extended his hand. Well, at least the least you can do is respect that.
Yeah.
And mo na that defined
So mo to'y nakausab sa imuha untang direction that time.
that, and also the realization that mao man gud ni pirmi kung kinsay makapuli mo na say mugukod. So ako gigukod nila. Karon ako na pod. Panggukdon ko na pod ni. But when will this end?
Yeah.
Kung magbali na pong panahon, gukod na po. Isigukdan na lang mi. Yung sa may tabo sa probinsya.
Yeah. O gituman yun ni Vice Gov Junjun, wa ka hatagig problema sa imuha mga programa dito sa Provincial Board.
Wala gyud. Kadtong that very extraordinary act of humility ni Vice Gov Junjun, that also was the catalyst for unity dito sa Provincial Board. Of course, I also treated them pareha, like kung mag-distribute ko itong 100 million for Cebu negosyo, mo sa pili po nila, no? 100 million. Wala ko may kana 1 million lang ihatag kay kontra na nako. Ang kanto ay natagai. Nili pareha na tanan.
So patas wa na color coding na hitabo.
Wala. We did not resort to that. We could have, I could have. But as I said lagi, unya inigbalisangin mo na pod. When will this end? So I said it ends now, right now. Here and now. If I made the wrong decision, so be it. But at least I have the next 3 years. This is what I'll do.
Daghan kayong na mangutana Gov, og asa man na nagkuha sa Gwen Garcia sa iyahang kaisog, during the COVID time na saksihan sa tanan kay mag-live ka on social media, giunsa nimo pagbarog alang sa Subo, sa mga Subuanon nga even kining gial kontra nimo ang mga national policies during that time. So mga pangutanas mga tao, asa man na siya gikan anang iyahang kaisog?
You know, it is in my character to always study. Dili ko magpataka og sulti kung wa ko'y nahibaw-an bahin anang nga subject matter. Moto nga when COVID happened, we were still calling it novel coronavirus. I didn't know anything. Sunod ko. Mas stricto pa gani ko. Di na gayto na ko pakaligoon sa dagat, di ba? Kung makaligo gani, dakpon, bunang adto na lang sila, mahimong sirena or ukoy. Stricto kay ko. Then I started to study. Sige kong basa, tanan gyud tanan. And I discovered nga, murag dili naman ni mao. But dili gyapon, it was not a unilateral opinion or decision. I would call the Department of Health, ang Bureau of Immigration, ang Bureau of Quarantine, ang tanan concern, ang OWA, ang DOT, kay how it was affecting our tourism, ang DTI. And every time na ay IATF guideline, I would say, okay, mao na ilang sulti. What do you think? What do you think? Ang nakanindot, even DILG,
Yes.
ang nakanindot sa atong mga regional directors, kay for most of them, they also, nakita mo na ng sitwasyon here on the ground. Dili pareha sa mga naglingkod dito, nga members sa mga IATF, mga secretaries, who have never even reached Lipayran or nakaadto sa bukid sa Hinatilan, sa Balamban. Unya ilang huna-huna, everything looks like Metro Manila. So I said, dito, kamo, kay kani nga mga RDs nang libot man ni sa ilang kaugalingon pod nga area of responsibility. So maminaw ko nila. And then I said, what about? Mao ni ilang giingon. Pwede na nato i-tweak mo na itong buhaton until we reach a consensus. It's always a consensus. And I said, now I will craft my EO. It will sound this way. Everybody would agree. Even DOH, even DILG. And with that, when you have studied the matter thoroughly, and you have also taken in the insights of those that have something to say and are experts in their own fields, that gave me the confidence to speak. But the impetus really was, kaya nagsigi kog libot, nakakita ko, grabe na kaayong pag-antos sa mga tao. Bisan ka tong vaccine,
Yes.
ang mga maestra, ang among, at that time, provincial division superintendent, dili pa sudlon ang mga maestra, ang katong wa magpa-vaccinate, nya paundangon, nya wa na yung mga kita, nya ang guideline, the law even said, you cannot discriminate. So, I stood up for them. Ang mga non-vaccinated. So, giatake na sad ko, Gwen, imo gina silang, kung anon, kay wa man ka nagpa-vaccinate. Iko, sige. Even though, kuyawan ko ha, papavaccinate ko, pa-vaccinate ko precisely so I can defend the unvaccinated. That's the extent that I will do. So, naisog ko, kay, direkta man gud akong pakihinabi nila, nakakita ko ang uban nagluha ang tanan. So, di sa may lain mo tingong paraan nila. Dili man ni mga powerful people.
Yeah.
Pero mo labing nagantos. Unya nga, gibutang mo ko sa Ginoo ni ining posisyon na.
Yes.
It was my duty. Unsa man di ini para kuan lang ni para sa honor sa posisyon aron tawgon tag honorable. Aron inig pamista na to di gyud hilabtang inasalan kung abot ka. I mean, I hope that, I think all of us, elected officials, should realize nga, it's not about the status, yun. Kay, this is a blessing from God, and He has spoken through the people, the voice of the people. So, dako, yun kaayo ning tulubagon o responsibilidad.
Ang Cebu under your watch has been consistently the #1 province of the country in terms of assets and assets. Labihang dakua ang giunsa pag ang Cebu sad has become murag gihimo nga benchmark sa uban nga mga provinces. Giunsa pag himo ni Governor Gwen nga magpabilin sa iyang estado ang lalawigan sa Cebu.
When I came back, well, even during my 9 years, I had always adopted the policy nga, dili ko mo donate og yuta, di ko mamaligya og yuta. If at all, ato ning i-develop, tagaan nato in partnership with the private sector, og opportunity to develop that property, so that the province can earn revenues. And we will be able to increase the value of that land. Mauto, nga if you would see kanang cyber zone sa PhilInvest, that's right beside IT Park.
Yeah.
We signed that contract in 2012. Nga, I thought up of the terms nga, you rent the land, that's 1.2 hectares good na. Nga, valuable kay na. The easiest thing would have been to sell it to PhilInvest.
Yeah.
Pero I said, no, abangan na ninyo per square meter with escalation, and then you give us percentage of shares. Gross. Percentage on gross revenues.
Yeah.
And i-build, transfer, operate. Dili BOT, build, transfer, operate. Kada mahuman ang usa ka asset, mahuman ang usa ka tower, ownership will now be turned over to the province for your right to operate. We now have 3 towers. That added to the asset. And the 1.2 hectares, nisaka sa diyang value. And they are now developing kanang Naas Banilad. That's another area. When I came back, the first thing that I did was to do an inventory of all our lots. And ang katong mga donate, there was really one nga, I hit the roof. Di gid mao. So, I called, it's concerned Ayala, I called them and I said, you cannot do this. We will revoke. Sugot sila, so revoke. Basta, daghang accounting. Katong mga na-donate atong gibawi, we did give them, however, for example, government agencies, pwede mo use of frac. Pero the asset is
Will remain sa province.
still with the province of Cebu. So, kana magyuta, well, the province of Cebu is the biggest landowner in the city of Cebu. You know why? My father had something to do with that. Kani adto, kitanban unta kay municipality ra man ning Cebu City.
Yes.
Yeah, continues to be the capital. Unya, at a certain point when Rene Espina was the governor, he was sent abroad to study. Ang vice governor mo inahimong acting. Tulor man to ka buok board member sa una. Ilang gidonate ang tanan natong yuta. Ngadto sa city of Cebu, kang Sirhing, Osmeña. Kay na ako no international event nga mahitabo. Gidonate ni tanan, which subsequently gibalmaligya sa syudad. When my father heard about it, he was still in private practice.
Lawyer.
Ni-file siya og TRO og injunction sa Barili. Subsequently, naabot po si Rene Espina, ni-join. So, na-halted to ang katong pagsigig baligya. Dili, napadayon ang donation.
Okay.
But pag issue sa Barili og injunction, naundang ang pamaligya. And thereafter, this went all the way up to the Supreme Court until nasabot, a compromise agreement was reached between the province of Cebu and the city of Cebu nga kadtong mga nabaligya prior to the injunction, irespeto na lang to. Because buyer in good faith.
Yes.
But after the injunction was issued, iuli na to tanan. This is why nibalik na to. And I owe it to my father. He had worked so hard for this.
Yeah.
So, I am the governor who will never sell, except for 93-1 and Opera, and the rest, kay di naman gina nato. That's another issue. Pero we are giving them the opportunity to purchase that land.
I'm glad you mentioned about 93-1 go. Humanang ultimatum imuhang gihatag last more 2 weeks ago. But doon na pa'y uban gyud nga wa mo apply because some people or some politicians ni promise nila nga dili mo mahilabtan diha sa inyong giokupahan.
They always promise that kada election.
Now, unsa may mahitabo atong wa gyud mo apply go?
Kani ako masulti, no? If you notice, hilom ka ko. Nag-chime in dayon ang mga politiko nga kada eleksyon mo na isaad nila. Pero you cannot give what is not yours.
Correct.
So you are just lying again to the people. Kada eleksyon, mao gyud ni gamiton pirmi, 93-1. Kay that's mga 4,000 families, 5,000 nagalit na ron. Yeah. Times 2, times 3, times 4, dako kay nang abotos oy. Before my 9 terms ended, I was already talking to these homeowners associations and we were trying to link them up with not Pag-ibig then, it was katong National Homeowners, Home Mortgage, mga anak. But then, moto, gisuspenso pagid ko my last 6 months. Wa gito na dayon, namirma na to sila. O kasabutan together with then VP Binay. Kay siya man to in charge sa
housing.
Housing. Pagbalik na ko, I talked with Pag-ibig. I said nga, kani ba inyong, you have so much money, dako kayo ng tahas ninyo nga makarelease unta mo. Anang billions nga naa ninyo. Kay tanan, atong mga sweldo, tanan bayad gud ta kada buwan. Iko, why don't you do this? Giunan akong opera. I-appraise ka na ninyo. Pila? Kanang opera in 1974, 10 pesos ra.
Yeah.
And they were given 5 years. Gi-extend na po. Wa pa gyud bayad. Sa may bayad gobyerno. Mao man ning 93-1. Tag 35 ba to? Tag 20. Dunay namayad. Gisige man na extend from 1993 another 5 years. Unta na, 98. Gi-extend og another 5 years, 2003. Akong amahan mo ay gobernador.
Yeah.
Gi-extend og 1 year. Pero ingon akong amahan, kutob ra ng June 30, 2004. Kay I will not burden the next governor. Iya na desisyon ko. Iya pa ba na i-extend? Pag abot na ako, kay ako madiin na himong gobernador, daghan na po kayo nihangyo, ipa-extend, Gwen, ipa-extend. Gikan pa nang kuha na, 1993. Naama po yung nangari diri. Di nga po, Gob, ayaw na i-extend. Kay kami, nibayad mi. Parihara mi kahimtang. Kung pobre sila, pobre sad mi, pero ni sakripisyo mi bayad. Unfair na kayo na, Gob. Motong wa na nako i-extend. Karon, kapila na ta nag-meeting, mga kuan man na, 40 or 48 ka housing associations. This is 11 barangays man eh. And ato na nagisabot. Ningon ko, ipareha na itong opera ha. Dili na 10 pesos ang opera. Kaya may G's ron, makagaba na sa dang. Uy. And besides, this is, ihatag na ako maong presyo. Di ba mo kabutar na ako. You are not constituents of the province of Cebu. Ang ako mga constituents, tos probinsya, wa magina ko taga-igyuta. So, bayad ta sa eksakto. To be fair, no? 11,000 ang appraisal sa Pag-ibig. Ila na appraisal ka ng 11,000 per square. And quite a number have already applied sa OPRA. Iko hala, sige, kaning 93-1, i-appraise na ninyo. Unsi na kabarangays, dili kami ang magbuot. Ang Pag-ibig. Unya, i-take into consideration ang zonal. So, kanang gipresyo ron, Pag-ibig, ana, wa gali kuan ang fair market value. Like for example, kanang atbang sigankon, Barrios. Kita ba ya ka anak tanan diha? Gipangnegosyo na bitang na skilled.
Yeah.
Naanay bakery, na flower shop na tanan. Ay kanang uban gipaabangan na gali na, purting taga-asa. Pero wa mi nagkuan fair market value, zonal ang gisundan sa Pag-ibig. Pag present na karon, na application na tanan. Nikalit naman og tan-aw na pod ang uban nga eleksyon na sad. Atong hangyoon si Mayor Raymond. Atong paubsan pagyud na pong presyo. Kay eleksyon ba ya para ma-hostage si Mayor Raymond.
Paborito ba yan mo pag umangkot?
Paborito gyud na. Daghan na ba makadungog. Kamong tanan pag umangkot paborito nako. So that was what happened. And I said, ayaw ninyo i-hostage na si Mayor Raymond. Gabaan mo, ana. Every time, inyo na ning gihimo. Motong i-issue ko ultimatum. Kay unsa, nanugot naman na sila. Gilihok naman na nila tanan. Pero lagi, mutukar yung pagkabintahoso. So, motong ni-issue ko og ultimatum. Enter the, way mga labot dayon. Kaya aron doon na ba sila relevance? Doon na ba makaingon kunuhay nga doon na sila kalambigitan nga doon na sila mahimo o mo mahimo. Sumagod kadugay na ninyo sa politika. Katong mga naningog ba except kaning usang bag-o nga ambot na nasaag ng apil-apil og apil-apil og komentaryo sa syudad. Unsa yung gilaganan? Di ba di as probinsya? Anyway, kaning uban kadugay na ninyo, wa man mo anak kasulbar nya maningog na sad mo ron. Di man gina masulbad. Kay ngano, di mo na ilayuta. Yuta mo na sa probinsya. When I came back, they tried to enter into lot swap.
Yes.
Between 93-1, nya ang gi-swap, purtigyon taong kaluuya yun. Luoy kaayo ang gipang swap kay kanang likod sa SM nga murag na ay labayanan bitaw sa unsa ni?
Abatuan na diha pita.
Nya naapay ilis nga tong sa konsolasyon ning puno og mga squatters. I said no way. Karon, I will just tell you this is a secret pero ang dunay nadako na diha nga official pero karon wa na pod na dismiss. Nga kuyog na siya, abogado man na siya. May advokasya alang sa urban poor. So kadto pang primero na kong 3 terms nga nakikstorya ko sa mga kaning homeowners, siya kunuhay ang abogado nila. Kay urban poor. Pagbalik na ako, gikuha na ko siyang konsultant. Kay I wanted to really deal with the 93-1 ug ang opera. Nya siya may naibaw ana kay advocacy lagi. So niingon siya niingon. Gob. Kana ba ilang kuan? Deed of donation. Di man na valid. Kung ano man. O kanang lot swap. Kay gipirmahan man na sa mayor then nga doon na ba na sila existing rule or ordinance nga dili na sila ang council kuno dili mo ratify. Kinahanglan mangayo gyud ka og prior authorization. Because so they went against their own ordinance. Yes, go. Mo nang fatal diha, defect. It did help nga ang Nipoli was friendly to the capital. So, nag-uliay mi. Because kung amo pa tong yung gipurso nga legal sani, gikan na niya. Gikan ta atong akong consultant who later on became administrator. And then talked about it. I mean, nagasuko ang iwan mga abogado kay that is very unethical.
So it's end of the road good para atong wa mo apply after the ultimatum.
Which one?
Sa wa mo apply sa 93-1 beneficiaries.
Wa gid ko nitubag, Fred, and you are hoping nga mutubag ko. Ganahan ko nga kanang mangsigig yaw-yaw ning mga tao nya. Say ko katawa kay they are just making fools of themselves. They are just showing just truly how irrelevant they are. You can never guess unsa akong ginauna. But although we will be kanus ani atong meeting, we are calling those that have applied. Doon na may nang-apply gyud. Pero doon na lang sila kanang deficiency. No? Ignota ang ilang gilista nga pag-ibig nga sige na registered. Ang income dili maka suffice. Or niingon sila pag-ibig sila pero pag-check kuno sa pag-ibig wa na sila didto nga kompanya. But they really applied. Unya, they went through baya ang paghimo sa subdivision plan, ang tanan. So I'm calling all of them. Katong nang-apply.
Yeah.
Ang katong wa nang-apply, sorry, but I'm calling all of them. And then also, doon na say mga ipang-release nga checks na to the province sa OPRA o sa 93-1. So we will have that. I think that's next week, naka-schedule.
Okay. Now, sa kadaghan nimong nahimo na sa imuhang administrasyon, unsa pa may imuhang tan-aw nga kini kinahanglan akong buhaton sa mosunod nimong termino, if ever?
I had always wanted, and I saw that manggod atong COVID. Lisura, nakasentro tanan dinhi. This is the capital of the province. But Cebu City, residents do not vote for the province. Kung magpatawag kog meeting, ang tanan mga mayor moabot diri. Mus kapasamot pa mig traffic diri. Unya, in the meantime, even during my 9 terms nga I was signing sisterhood agreements, mao na sud mga musita diri ang mga governors, even there was one former head of state gyud sa Korea. They thought nga mao na ning province. So this sulbong ba putong investment diri. And I said we should give the opportunity to the real constituents of the province. And that is ang atong mga lungsod. Mo to niingon kung let us transfer the seat of government to Balamban. Why? Balamban sentro. To the north and to the south. And then connected by the Antonio Y. DPO Highway nga lapad, accessible kaayo sa norte ug sa south. And when we transfer that seat of government, so will the opportunity for more growth and development. Niining atong mga lungsod ug ubang pangdakbayan nga karon mawa manggod sa mapa kay niya man tanan.
Yeah.
Nakasentro man dinhi. And that is something that I hope we will be able to at least establish the transfer of the seat of government to the central western part of the island of Cebu, the municipality of Balamban. That is one. I am hoping maka-establish ta tungod sa kadaghanan natong mga economic enterprises. Naglisod na may og assign to a particular department like a treasurer. Ang treasurer just receives, no, the payments. Ang accounting just checks on the but who will really be nakatutok sa atong economic enterprises? Like ang build, transfer, operate with PhilInvest. Like the Manila Water joint venture with the province of Cebu supplying MCWD of 35 million liters a day. Bago pa lang, nagpartner ta with Acciona, that's 150 megawatts. Mo expand pa na to Dumanhog and to Toledo. That is in partnership. Naamon kita mga revenues, ana.
Yeah.
Ang katong further development sa Banilag, again, with PhilInvest. Not only that, daghang kay tag, for example, we are the LGU with the most number of dialysis units. Ang upat ka provincial, Balamban, Karkar, Danao, ug Bugo, na tanan, including our 2 island hospitals, which are Bantayan and kaning Camotes. Our bus terminals, ang issuance of tickets, these are beep cards. That's again in partnership. We have, well, several other businesses. Like we are in partnership with the canyoneering sa Badyan, which because ato nagi-ordinansa, kung kani adto tag 150 mil may nakaina sa usa ka buwan ang ma-share sa Badyan, ang karon ang ilang share not less than 10 million a month ang ilang nakita. Daghan ka ita. Even selling cement to our contractors at a lower price, but we're still napagyutay margin. That's Cebu Cemento. We also have ang kani atong kuan. Daghan kayo. Anyway, I want to create the Department of Economic Enterprises. Kung diin nakatutok gyud kana nga mao nga departamento sa tanan natong economic enterprises. Like for example, ang Moalboal karon, ang probinsya may nagpadagan ron sa level 3 water system. That's about 8,000 households. We developed the bulk water. We installed the transmission pipes, then went on to the distribution pipes. Smart meters na ning gigamit. Pares na sa atong gihimo sad karon sa Carmen. We're running this. Namaligya na tag tubig. Pero what department nga nakatutok ana? Ang Malapascua, there was a very, very bad situation dito kay ang power provider magsigig brown out, nangaguba na tanan appliances since 2021. Ang turismo dito, it really suffered. So it came to a point we took over ang province. Kitay ni palit sa mga generating sets. Upat na ka 500 kVA nga generators. And then ang Sebeco pod nga ila ta tong gi-waive ang ilang right to distribute to that previous power provider, ilang gi-revoke, took it back. So now, kita na ang power generator. We supply it to Sebeco. Sebeco is now the distributor. Naam putay revenue ana. Who will take care of that? So we are now in power, we are in water as well. And so many others that are, soon we will have the first WTE, waste to energy plant. This is in partnership with Suez. That's a French 160-year-old company that's in about 41 countries. Daghan. So we will create that, the Committee on Economic Enterprises. I hope to be able to finally supply. Right now, ongoing ang trabaho sa bulk water in 25 of our municipalities, katong gusto. Kaya ang uban, they want to stick it out with the water district. I hope that we will be able to, at least for the greater majority, give them that kind of service nga level 3. Nga, maski probinsyano or probinsyana parehan nako, they deserve first-class service in the same way as they also deserve first-class infrastructure.
And kining maong mga serbisyo, although dili ni siya totally libre na ay because it's an economic enterprise as you said, but these are affordable.
That is where it works best. Why? Because well, we need to sustain it. Kay naa kay mga bayranan ana ang operation, ang personnel, and even expanding the service. But since we are government, ang provincial government, we also have our social responsibility, our civic responsibility. So, mabalansi gid na. That is why what happened in Malapascua was, when nag-meeting ko nila, I think it was the other day, kulbaan na sila kay ni-take over ta August 6. Pero, this had never happened before nga, usa ka LGU mo take over, mo provide, naglibog ang DOE, ang NEA, National Electrification Administration, ang NPC, o ang ERC, ang Energy Regulatory Commission. Kung saan nila nag-treat, they recognize the emergency nature that nobody else, okay, nipalyar na tong powers of, under the small power unit, maning kanang SPAG.
Yeah.
Nipalyar man. NPC unta to. Dapat, dadun ilang power barge or sila moabang og generator. Di man nila, wa man kuno sila. Ikaw yung sama will just sit back. So the province came in. And they all recognize that. Pero sukad pa atong August 6, wa pa tayo kulikta-kulikta. Ni take over sa ang Sibeco, gipamang-o ang tanan mga linya, wa pa sila kulikta-kulikta. Until napahanay tanan. Nag-meeting ta with DOE, NEA, ERC, and NPC. Okay, inani, pasari og ordinansa from the province nga mauni ang presyo amo giset nga wa na objection ang ERC kay that was the approved price. And ibaligya ni nato ngadto sa Sibeco, magbutang og transmission charge ang Sibeco, sila na mo kolekta. Napasara ang ordinansa. But when we went there, doon na unta okay, 1680. Moto ang presyo. Ang kadtong power provider was already collecting 22 or 23 pesos. Mas taas. So, mas mubo to. Niingon ng Sibeco, naon pa mi 155 nga transmission. Amo nang i-wave. So, mas ubos, 1680. Ang ilang kulbaan, saan nilang bayad ang katong gikas August, kutob karong February or March. Napundo man to. So, na-appeal na to sa ordinansa, gidivide na to. Divided by 24. Monthly payments nga ikarga sa ilang monthly bill. So, it's really, because I knew nga naglisod.
Yes.
Ang mga panginabuhi, ang tourism has to recover. Hindi mo, so yun, maraming mga negosyante. That is where it works best. Kung it's the province of Cebu that partners with the private sector. Kanang 150 megawatt nga solar. You know why ingon sa kong partner ta? Kay foreigner, binuangan niya ng magsud mga speculators. More than that, because I wanted to be sure they will stick to their promise of 450. 450 per kilowatt hour. Ang i-feed ngadto sa NGCP. What does that mean? Ang atong coal-fired power plants, because the price of coal is so erratic, mumahal pag ginagkalit. Karon, per kilowatt hour, ang ma-feed to the NGCP, gikan sa coal-fired power plants na to, could be anywhere from 12 pesos to 13 pesos. Mao na epekto na to, mas taas ang atong bayranan. But, kung masud ang tagkwar 450, that goes into the mix, ang blended ng presyo, maus-us gyud. That is why I was very interested to partner. Kay aron naa ang probinsya that will look after the interest of the constituents of the province. I'm not thinking about the big industrialists. I'm thinking about kining pamilya nga budget ug maayong kwarta kani para kuryente, kani para pagkaon and on. But of course, it goes without saying, with lower electricity rates, we become more attractive to investors.
How I wish we have more time, Gov, no? Kay daghan pa kay tag mga pangutana, pero since limited atong time, your message to the Cebuanos, Gov. Nganong angayan nga sublian si Governor Gwen Garcia sa laing termino?
I do not toot my own horn. Kamo na lang desider kung angayan ba o dili. You've heard me, but naman sad atong Sugbo News, naman atong tanan nga mga pages. You have watched me. You know my life. Wa ko'y gitago. More importantly, wa ko'y gilimod. O wa sad ko mamakak. My life is an open book from the very beginning. So, it's up to the people. tingali, it's up to you. Kaya naghusgar ka na ko ron. I would just say nga, Gwen Garcia is Gwen Garcia. I've never changed. From the very first day that I served as Governor of Cebu, and that was July 1st, 2004, I have never been your typical politician. In fact, I surprised a lot of people when I would say, no, I cannot do that. No, I cannot give you that. Ang politiko never says no. But I am who I am. Maybe it helped that I came from the private sector. I built up my own businesses, and I knew that nothing prospers based on promises that you cannot fulfill. And so I identified government as an enterprise. An enterprise demands efficiency. Efficiency translates to quality service for all. So I'm still the same. Maybe the years have etched their mark on my face and on my weight. Although, napamantay ko'y kurbada gihapon na bilin. But the heart of Gwen Garcia, a heart that found her calling on that first day that I served as Governor of Cebu in 2004, this is still the same heart that I believe wa na lain makaangkon pa. Kay kini sa kinatibuk-an giangkon na sa Sugbo ug mga Sugboanon.
Thank you very much, Governor Gwen Garcia. Be informed, protect the Cebu vote, know your candidate. I'm Fred Langido. Good afternoon.
The May 2025 election is just around the corner. Do you really know the candidates who want to lead you? For years, the Freeman has brought you Know Your Candidate, your trusted platform to meet the candidates, hear their plans, and get the answers that matter. Your vote shapes our future. Stay informed, stay empowered. Catch Know Your Candidate, only here at the Freeman.